Hello, 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 and welcome back to Octo English Academy, the coziest, most comfortable corner of the English learning world. I'm Sophie, and I am so genuinely happy you're here with us today. Pull up a chair, take a breath, let's talk.
Hey everyone, Jamie here. And Sophie, I have to be honest, I almost started this episode without you because I was so excited about today's topic. I was literally pacing around my apartment this morning thinking about it.
You were pacing.
Actual pacing, back and forth. My neighbor probably thinks I'm losing my mind.
Your neighbor is going to start wondering about you. Okay, before we get into all of that, real check-in. How are you actually feeling today, Jamie? And I want the honest version, not the yeah, good, fine version.
Okay, real version. I'm a little overstimulated today, honestly. I spent too much time reading the news this morning, which is funny because of what today's topic is, and now my brain feels like it has 17 tabs open, and none of them are loading properly.
17 tabs, none loading. That is the most accurate description of news brain I have ever heard.
It's a real condition. I'm coining it right now. News brain.
I support that completely. For me, I'm actually feeling quite calm today. I had one of those mornings where everything went right. My tea was the perfect temperature, I had time to sit quietly for a few minutes before the day started, and I felt like a person who has things under control, which almost never happens, so I'm enjoying it while it lasts.
Treasure it, Sophie. Treasure every second.
I really am. Okay, friends, your turn. How are you feeling right now, in this moment? We want the honest answer, not just, I'm okay. Give us a full sentence. Something like, I'm a little tired because work was long today. Or, I'm curious because this topic sounds interesting. Say it out loud, right now, to yourself, to the room, to your coffee mug. It doesn't matter who hears it. What matters is that you use your voice. That is practicing English. That is growing.
Your coffee mug is a very non-judgmental listener, by the way.
The best kind. All right. Today's episode. Jamie, do you want to introduce it since you were literally pacing about it this morning?
I would love to. So today we are talking about something that comes up in real conversations all the time, especially if you're living in the United States or talking with Americans or just consuming English language media of any kind.
It's one of those topics that sounds a little heavy at first, but we're going to make it warm, real, and actually very useful for your English.
Today's episode is called Why Americans Don't Trust the News, and we're going to have a real, honest conversation about it. What's happening, why it matters, what vocabulary you need, and how to talk about it naturally in English.
Because this comes up at dinner tables, at work, on social media, in the comments of basically every news video ever made. If you want to understand what Americans are talking about and why they sometimes get really emotional about it, this episode is for you.
We're keeping it B1 level, clear, natural, easy to follow. If you hear a word you don't know, pause, rewind, we'll explain as we go. No rush, no pressure.
And this is a safe space. We're not here to tell you what to think about the news. We're here to help you understand the conversation, the words, the feelings, the context.
Which is what good English learning actually looks like, right? Not just grammar, real life.
Real life, exactly. And before we dive in, please give this episode a like if it's helping you, subscribe to Octo English Academy if you haven't already, and leave us a comment, especially this one.
Write, I'm blank from blank, and today I feel blank because blank.
We read every single comment. Fill in those blanks and let us know you were here today. Okay, so let's start with just a basic question. Jamie, when you think about the news, what's the first feeling that comes up for you? Honestly.
Honestly, a kind of low-level anxiety. Like, I know I should probably watch the news to stay informed, but every time I do, I end the session feeling worse than when I started. Like the world is on fire and everything is terrible and there's nothing I can do about any of it.
That is such a common feeling, and I think it's actually one of the reasons trust in the news has fallen so much in the United States, and in many countries really. People feel like the news doesn't make them better informed, it just makes them more anxious and more confused.
And more angry sometimes.
Yes, more angry. Let's talk about the numbers first, just briefly, so our listeners have some context. Context is background information. It helps you understand a situation better. So here's some context. Surveys, that means studies where you ask a large group of people the same questions. Surveys consistently show that American trust in the news media is at historically low levels. Historically low means lower than it has been in all of recorded history, basically. We're talking about levels not seen since the 1970s and even lower in some measures.
Which is really significant. And when we say trust in the news, what do we actually mean? Like, what does it mean to trust a news source?
Good question. To trust a news source means you believe it's reporting facts accurately, fairly, and without a hidden agenda. An agenda in this context means a secret goal or purpose behind what someone is saying. If a news channel has an agenda, it means they're not just reporting the facts, they're pushing a particular point of view, maybe to influence you, how you think or vote or feel.
And a lot of Americans feel like that's exactly what's happening with major news outlets. Outlet, by the way, is just another word for a news organization or media company, a TV channel, a newspaper, a news website.
So you'll hear people say mainstream media outlets. Mainstream means the most popular, most widely consumed, most established sources, the big TV networks, the major newspapers, the most visited websites. And there's a really interesting word that comes up in this conversation constantly: bias. Do you want to explain that one, Sophie? Yes. Bias is when someone or a news organization favors one side over another. It means they're not completely neutral, not completely in the middle. They lean toward one perspective. In American media, you'll often hear people talking about liberal bias or conservative bias, meaning some people feel the news leans too left politically and others feel it leans too right politically.
And here's where it gets interesting and a little complicated. Both sides say this. People on the left think a lot of the media is too conservative, people on the right think a lot of the media is too liberal, and people in the middle just feel like they can't figure out what's actually true anymore.
Which leads to a feeling called, and this is a phrase you'll hear a lot, media skepticism. Skepticism means doubt. If you're skeptical about something, you don't fully believe it. You question it. You're not sure it's completely true.
And media skepticism in the US has grown enormously over the past 20 years or so. Enormously means a lot, more than people expected or could have predicted.
Part of the reason for this is something called the 24-hour news cycle. This phrase refers to the fact that modern news never stops. It runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's always something breaking, always something urgent, always a headline designed to make you stop scrolling and pay attention.
And the problem with that is not everything is equally important. Not every story is a crisis. But the way the news is presented, everything feels like a crisis. Everything feels like an emergency. And after a while, people get exhausted.
That exhaustion has a name too. It's called news fatigue. Fatigue means extreme tiredness. News fatigue is when you feel so tired of consuming news, so worn down by the constant stream of alarming headlines that you just stop following it. You turn it off, you disconnect, and a lot of Americans have done exactly that. Studies show that a significant number of people, especially younger generations, have actively chosen to stop following the news regularly because it was affecting their mental health.
Which is completely understandable. And yet, there's a real tension there, because staying informed is important. Knowing what's happening in your community, your country, your world, that matters, especially if you're an immigrant or someone new to the country. Understanding the news helps you understand the culture, the conversations, the context of everything around you.
So it's like you need the news, but the news doesn't always make you feel good, and you're not always sure you can trust it. It's a complicated relationship.
Very complicated. And there's another big factor here: social media. The rise of social media has completely changed how people get their news. Instead of watching one trusted channel or reading one trusted newspaper, people now get information from hundreds of different sources, some reliable, some not, some professional journalists, some random people with a phone and a strong opinion.
And this has given rise to something called misinformation. Misinformation is false or inaccurate information, especially when it spreads online. It doesn't always mean someone is lying on purpose. Sometimes people share things they genuinely believe are true, but they haven't verified them. Verified means checked, confirmed that something is actually correct.
And the speed of social media means misinformation can spread incredibly fast, faster than the correction. By the time someone says, actually, that story was wrong, millions of people have already shared the original false version.
There's a phrase for this too, going viral. When something goes viral, it spreads extremely quickly to a huge number of people online. And unfortunately, studies consistently show that false stories go viral faster than true ones because they're often more dramatic, more emotionally charged, more shareable. Emotionally charged means full of strong emotion. Anger, fear, outrage. Outrage is a strong word for extreme anger, especially when you feel something is deeply unfair or wrong. A lot of news and a lot of viral content is designed to provoke outrage because outrage makes people engage. It makes them click, share, comment.
And this is called, you might have heard this phrase, clickbait. Clickbait is content, a headline, a thumbnail, a title that is specifically designed to make you click on it, often by being sensational or misleading. Sensational means exaggerated for dramatic effect. The headline sounds shocking, you click, and then the actual article is much less dramatic than the title suggested.
I think we've all clicked on clickbait at least once.
Multiple times, yesterday even.
At least you're honest. Okay, so all of this together, the bias, the 24-hour cycle, news fatigue, misinformation, social media, clickbait, it adds up to a situation where a lot of Americans genuinely feel like they don't know who to trust anymore. And that is a real cultural moment. It affects how people talk to each other, how they relate to authority, how they make decisions.
And here's something that's really useful to understand, especially if you're new to America or learning about American culture. People's relationship to the news is often tied to their political identity. Identity means how someone sees themselves, who they feel they are as a person.
And in the U.S. right now, politics is extremely polarized. Polarized means divided into two very opposite sides, with very little in the middle. People on one side and people on the other side are often watching completely different news, hearing completely different versions of events, and reaching completely different conclusions about what's true.
Which means that sometimes two Americans can look at the exact same event and have completely different understandings of what happened, not because one is stupid or lying, but because they consumed completely different information about it.
That's a genuinely difficult thing to sit with, and it's one of the reasons conversations about the news and about politics can get so heated so quickly. Heated means emotionally intense, almost like an argument is about to happen.
If you ever hear Americans talking about the news and getting worked up means becoming emotionally agitated, upset, passionate. This is the background. This is why.
And knowing this vocabulary, understanding this context, it helps you follow the conversation. It helps you understand what people mean when they say things like, I don't trust the mainstream media, or that's just propaganda, or check your sources.
Propaganda, by the way, is information, often political, that is presented in a biased or misleading way to promote a particular cause or point of view. It's a strong word. People use it when they feel the news is actively trying to manipulate them.
And check your sources, that's a phrase you'll hear when someone questions whether a piece of information came from a reliable place. A source is where information comes from. Checking your sources means asking, who said this? Are they credible? Credible means trustworthy, believable, having a good reputation for accuracy.
So much vocabulary, so much context, but all of it is real. All of it shows up in real conversations.
Okay, let's slow down now. Breathe. We covered a lot of ground today, and I want to make sure these words stay with you. Let's do our soft word tour, just a gentle walk back through everything.
Nice and easy, like a quiet walk through the words.
Word 1. Bias. When someone or a news organization favors one side over another, not neutral, leaning in a direction. Example, some people think that news channel has a political bias.
Word 2. Skepticism. Doubt. Not fully believing something, questioning whether it's true. Example, I read that story with a lot of skepticism because I hadn't seen it anywhere else.
Word 3. Misinformation. False or inaccurate information, especially when it spreads online. Example, there was a lot of misinformation going around about that event.
Word 4. Media fatigue or news fatigue. The feeling of being so tired and overwhelmed by the constant news cycle that you just stop following it. Example, I took a break from social media because of news fatigue.
Word 5. Clickbait. Content designed to make you click, usually with a dramatic or misleading headline. Example, that title sounds like clickbait to me. I bet the actual article is much less shocking than the title suggested.
Word 6. Polarized. Divided into two very opposite sides. Example, the political conversation in this country feels very polarized right now.
And word 7. Credible. Trustworthy, believable, having a good reputation for accuracy. Example, always look for credible sources before you share something online.
So much vocabulary, so much context, but all of it is real. All of it shows up in real conversations.
Okay, let's slow down now. Breathe. We covered a lot of ground today, and I want to make sure these words stay with you. Let's do our soft word tour, just a gentle walk back through everything.
Nice and easy, like a quiet walk through the words.
Word 1. Bias. When someone or a news organization favors one side over another, not neutral, leaning in a direction. Example, some people think that news channel has a political bias.
Word 2. Skepticism. Doubt. Not fully believing something, questioning whether it's true. Example, I read that story with a lot of skepticism because I hadn't seen it anywhere else.
Word 3. Misinformation. False or inaccurate information, especially when it spreads online. Example, there was a lot of misinformation going around about that event.
Word 4. Media fatigue or news fatigue. The feeling of being so tired and overwhelmed by the constant news cycle that you just stop following it. Example, I took a break from social media because of news fatigue.
Word 5. Clickbait. Content designed to make you click, usually with a dramatic or misleading headline. Example, that title sounds like clickbait to me. I bet the actual article is much less shocking than the title suggested.
Word 6. Polarized. Divided into two very opposite sides. Example, the political conversation in this country feels very polarized right now.
And word 7. Credible. Trustworthy, believable, having a good reputation for accuracy. Example, always look for credible sources before you share something online.
So much vocabulary, so much context, but all of it is real. All of it shows up in real conversations.
Okay, let's slow down now. Breathe. We covered a lot of ground today, and I want to make sure these words stay with you. Let's do our soft word tour, just a gentle walk back through everything.
Nice and easy, like a quiet walk through the words.
Word 1. Bias. When someone or a news organization favors one side over another, not neutral, leaning in a direction. Example, some people think that news channel has a political bias.
Word 2. Skepticism. Doubt. Not fully believing something, questioning whether it's true. Example, I read that story with a lot of skepticism because I hadn't seen it anywhere else.
Word 3. Misinformation. False or inaccurate information, especially when it spreads online. Example, there was a lot of misinformation going around about that event.
Word 4. Media fatigue or news fatigue. The feeling of being so tired and overwhelmed by the constant news cycle that you just stop following it. Example, I took a break from social media because of news fatigue.
Word 5. Clickbait. Content designed to make you click, usually with a dramatic or misleading headline. Example, that title sounds like clickbait to me. I bet the actual article is much less shocking than the title suggested.
Word 6. Polarized. Divided into two very opposite sides. Example, the political conversation in this country feels very polarized right now.
And word 7. Credible. Trustworthy, believable, having a good reputation for accuracy. Example, always look for credible sources before you share something online.
So much vocabulary, so much context, but all of it is real. All of it shows up in real conversations.
Okay, let's slow down now. Breathe. We covered a lot of ground today, and I want to make sure these words stay with you. Let's do our soft word tour, just a gentle walk back through everything.
Nice and easy, like a quiet walk through the words.
Word 1. Bias. When someone or a news organization favors one side over another, not neutral, leaning in a direction. Example, some people think that news channel has a political bias.
Word 2. Skepticism. Doubt. Not fully believing something, questioning whether it's true. Example, I read that story with a lot of skepticism because I hadn't seen it anywhere else.
Word 3. Misinformation. False or inaccurate information, especially when it spreads online. Example, there was a lot of misinformation going around about that event.
Word 4. Media fatigue or news fatigue. The feeling of being so tired and overwhelmed by the constant news cycle that you just stop following it. Example, I took a break from social media because of news fatigue.
Word 5. Clickbait. Content designed to make you click. Pick one word, just one, the one that feels most alive for you today, and make your own sentence with it. Say it out loud. Write it in the comments. Use it once. That's enough. That's how a word becomes yours.
This was such a good episode. I feel like my brain actually has fewer tabs open now, which is rare after talking about the news.
That's the magic of talking about things carefully and slowly. It actually helps.
It really does. And I want to say to our listeners, this topic can feel heavy. The news, trust, misinformation, political division. These are big things, and it's okay if it feels like a lot. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to keep asking questions and thinking critically. Critically means thoughtfully, carefully, not just accepting everything you see or hear.
And that is a skill, a real, valuable, life-changing skill. And the fact that you're here, listening, learning, building your English so you can engage with the world more fully, that is you exercising that skill.
You're doing the work. Every episode, every word, every sentence you say out loud to your coffee mug, it all adds up.
You are part of this community, the Octo English Academy community. People from every corner of the world, learning together, supporting each other, growing one episode at a time. You belong here. You have always belonged here.
One small step at a time, always.
Please share this episode if it helped you. Leave a comment, subscribe, like. All of those small things make a real difference for us, and they help more people find this little cozy corner of the internet.
And we will see you in the next one. Take care of your news consumption today, friends. Be kind to your brain.
And this was the Octo English Academy. See you in the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone. And remember, before you share something you saw online, take just 5 seconds to ask, is this from a credible source? 5 seconds. That's all it takes.